Mike Alexander.
Hello, and greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. Today, you guys want to listen in. We have our very own dear friend, musician. Not only is he a musician, but he's a producer, engineer, Mr. Michael Alexander Burton. And you want to hear, he tells us, gives us the nitty gritty behind the scenes of being a musician, being an engineer, from plagiarism, learning how to navigate your business as a musician. He's had the blessed opportunity to play on the soundtrack of Michael Jackson, one of his title tracks, Escape, produced by Darkchild. So we're excited for what it is that he has been able to do, and we're excited to have him here and have him share with us. But before we introduce you to him, let me just tell you a little bit about myself and our school. My name is Renee West. As you guys know, I'm the CEO and founder of Alia School of Art. Please check us out online. You can find us right there on our website, www.aliaschoolofart.com, or send us an email, aliaschoolofart@gmail.com. Find us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the same handle. That's Alia School of Art, ALIYAH, School of Art, singular. But we're excited to have the guest that we have today. And so without further ado, Mr. Michael Alexander Burton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much. And we're super happy and honored to have you with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to share your story. I know there was a lot of ups and downs and a lot of growth and challenges that you had to experience in your walk. But before we hop into those juicy stories, we want to hear a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Mike Alexander Burton. My production name is Mike Alexander. So basically what I do, I play trumpet and saxophone, and I produce and play like a lot of different instruments. I play keys, I play bass, play a little bit of guitar, a little bit of drums for the church, etc. Just like a little different stuff. So that's pretty much like what I do. Right now I play with this band called the Uptown Band. They're based out of Reading, Pennsylvania. So we do like a lot of shows. Actually tonight, I actually have a show out in Atlantic City. So that should be a lot of fun. So that's pretty much just like a little bit about what I do. Like, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. And so we know that you're a musician. I actually, for guys that you don't know, representing UArts, woo woo.
Yes.
We both went to the University of Arts, and that's where I met you when you were studying there in the music department. So we know that you're a musician, but you also transitioned into production and engineering. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so basically how I got started, when I was out in college, I noticed that I wanted to get more in touch with like different styles of music. So I started getting connected with like the neo soul stuff. And then I started talking to different people, and then they were telling me like, you need to learn how to produce music. So what I started doing, like I used to go to the computer lab out in, what was the name of that building? I think it was the Terra building, I believe. That or the Merriam's, it was one of the two. I used to go in the computer lab, and then I noticed like there was like a keyboard there, and then they had like different software. So I just started kind of like messing with that a little bit. So that was kind of like my little introduction to music production. Like I was just experimenting with the keyboard, and then I started putting stuff together. So that's kind of like how that went in. And then I started like connecting and talking to different people. So, I mean, like it's pretty cool. Like I just like, just that style of music. I like to make that kind of music. I like to play behind it. So I figured I might as well just have to learn how to do it, So I kind of just started just playing. It wasn't my intention, because I really just wanted to do trumpet, but I was intrigued by it.
That's awesome. And I believe, are you talking about the MIDI lab and the Merriam building?
Yeah, yep. That's
yes,
the one.
yes. I
I would be
remember
in the
that as
late
well.
nights.
I do remember those days, trying to get your work done.
Right, right.
So tell us a little bit about your style. Now, is your style solely neo soul, or would you say that there are some other styles that you like to venture into?
My style is like a mix of different stuff. Like it's a hint of like neo soul. I'm an R&B and jazz head, so you're gonna hear a lot of like R&B and like jazz influences into my music, and I also like a lot of the hip hop style type of stuff. So I kind of incorporate all these different things into one, along with like the jazz stuff. So it's not really like a specific genre. It's just like a mix of like different things, just all kind of put into one.
Awesome. So now let's talk a little bit about your transition from your student. Now you're working as a professional. I know that you had a few different opportunities avail themselves, but what did that transition look like from student to professional? How did you get your foot into the game?
Well, as a college student, the only thing I really wanted to do was just get myself out there. My dream was to like play with Wynton Marsalis and all these big time jazz cats. So I was always going to jam sessions all the time. But as I got older and we graduated college, like that opportunity was a little bit different because I went back home and then I started working at Free to Lay. So I was working there for a while, I was throwing boxes, and I knew like I wanted to do music like full time. So what I used to do, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but like I used to like pray on my forklift to give me an opportunity to be in a band where I can, do music full time and not have to, sling boxes anymore. So then I ended up getting an email, from the leader of the Uptown band. And he told me like, to come out to these gigs and check it out, see if you like it. So I went to him, and then pretty much like the rest was history. But the whole difference is like actually playing with a professional band compared to being a student. It's a whole different ball game. It's a lot of different things that I had to learn. I had to learn how to not keep my hands in my pockets when I'm on stage. I had to learn to really interact with the crowd. I had to learn to get over a fear of like singing. Like I never like singing at all, but like you kind of have to do certain things. So it's just a certain way you have to carry yourself. You have to be professional. If you're going through things, like you have to learn how to not show those emotions on stage, because at the end of the day, like you're trying to do a show for the audience. They're the ones that are watching you. So like you have to like give off an energy like everything is great and happy and upbeat. So sometimes you kind of have to learn to put those feelings like behind you or kind of like suppress it so you can actually do that. There's a lot of things I had to learn about the music business. You can't be too gullible with certain things. You have to make sure everything is copywritten. That's very, very important. You just have to be on top of everything, and that's pretty much it. It's just a matter of just like you want to be like yourself. You want to be a nice person. You don't want to be fake. You want to be genuine to who you are, but at the same time, you don't want to be a pushover either. So like you got to have that balance in between. But as a college student, like you really don't know that, so to speak. Like you kind of just thinking, oh shoot, I can play all this stuff and somebody's going to pick me up, and it doesn't really work like that. Like you really have to grind. It's going to be a lot of sleepless nights. There might be times where you might have to move to different locations. You might have to reinvent yourself. There might be times where you might actually want to quit. I've been there plenty of times. And the worst thing about that is that when I actually wanted to quit trumpet, I felt miserable. Like it was just something that I knew was not right. Like that definitely was not the way that God wanted me to move. So at the end of the day, like whenever you have a God-given gift, you really have to utilize it to your fullest. So, I mean, it's just a lot of different things. Like I can go, you want to make sure you're on time for your gigs. You don't want to, don't show up late. Make sure you have all your equipment ready. So it's just a lot of little things like that makes the difference between, being a student and then going to the professional leagues. So that was kind of like my little transition. I had to learn all those different things, and I'm glad I did. So here we are today.
That's excellent. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I think, a lot of times, if there's any students watching, and for those, or even if you're just a newbie, these are the little things that you have to be able to pick up and conquer in order to maintain yourself as a professional in your field. So I want to go back to something that you mentioned. You talked about, and if I would paraphrase in 2 words, having character and integrity. Can you name us a time where your character and integrity played a pivotal role in what it was that you were doing?
Yes. So when you're talking and networking with people, I believe that you really have to build relationships with people. Like it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be their friends, quote unquote, but like you definitely want to like put like a good impression out there. You don't want to come off, as being like, kind of mean. Like you don't want to like have your head down. Like you want to have like good body language. You want to be present. You want to be very open and attentive to what that person's saying. So, there's opportunities where I got, they wanted me to do gigs and stuff like that. And I was talking to them and I was just being very professional about it, but I was also being nice, So at the same time, you got to have that balance of like handling your business, but at the same time being a people person, And so that definitely comes a long way. One thing that I've also learned is that you definitely don't want to bash other people as well. Like there's some people that may not be quite as talented, or they may not have all the skills that you may have or such and such may have, but you can learn something from everybody, So you really have to treat everybody the same way. You treat people the way that you want to be treated. If you want to be treated with respect, you have to give respect. If you want to be loved, you have to give love. That's how it is. And it's the same thing with business too. If you want people to work with you, you have to be a people person, and you have to be approachable, and you have to be workable. You have to be able to work with those people. So that's my answer for that one.
That's excellent. So on the opposite spectrum, has there been a time, it could be yourself or somebody else without naming any names or places, where you saw that it worked on the contrary for them? They weren't exemplifying the best character or integrity or just, representation of themselves, and it did not work out well for them.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that plenty of times. I know people who they're not really people. They're kind of like ignorant to a degree, but at the same time, like I guess them having that ignorance is what pushes them to really drive and get the things that they want. It's like a certain work ethic that they have, So whatever that person experienced in their lifetime, is different from the other person, but maybe that's all they really know. And they know, okay, well, if I come at a person at this angle, if I be kind of hard towards them, then I can get the things that I want. Some people are like that, and some people aren't. It really just depends. Like for me personally, like I feel like you really shouldn't be that way, per speak. But I mean, if it's working for you, and if you're getting work out of it, then keep doing your thing. Everyone has their little niche, but it really just depends on the person, but I've definitely seen that quite a few times in my day. It's been times like I've been yelled at, and I've seen him yell at other people or her or such and such. But the good thing is like the fact that they yell, it actually propelled them to become better, because it's just like, it's all a mental thing in a sense. Like you have people that's going to tell you that you quote unquote suck, but when they tell you that you suck, it's going to force you to go home and really practice. So that way you can get to the next level. That way you can become the best version of yourself. Now you can take that energy and you can use it towards, having revenge on somebody, or you can use it to bless other people. You can use that energy to, hate other people, or you can use that energy to spread love and tell the people like this, this is not the way to go about it. But, just kind of encourage them, so I guess it really has a different effect on different people.
Okay, excellent. I like that. So really, we can allow the situations that we experience in life to make us better or bitter. And like you said, we want to become better, not bitter.
Right.
And I do agree with you. I think, like you said, we're going to find people on both spectrums. However, I have found that for the most part, if you have a great personality about you and people would really like to be around you, it doesn't matter how talented you are. I've found that sometimes people will take the less talented person just because they would prefer to be around them, as opposed to the other person who's super talented, but just difficult to get along with. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that 100%. Because I feel like everyone has their certain go-to people that they're cool with. So if you have a great personality, you're going to be way more open to more people coming into your life and being able to work with other people. But then on the flip side, if you have a close off energy, then no one's going to really want to be bothered with you. So again, it's about having balance. Like you can be an introvert, or you can, be a certain way, but you still have to be receptive to whatever comes into your life. It really just depends.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell us about a project that you're working on now. What project are you working on now and how's it going?
As of right now, I'm actually currently working on different music loops, and I'm actually working on some music production stuff. I don't want to get like too much involved, like into explaining everything right now, because I kind of like do things in silence almost. But at the same time, it's just like I'm at the point now. It's like I'm starting to make a lot of loops and stuff, and you will see a lot of videos that's going to come out of me. So hopefully, like well, actually, no, not hopefully, it will come to pass. Everything will definitely work out. I'm actually very excited about that. I do have a little album that I'm working on as well. I don't really know a release date, but just know I'm definitely in here grinding. I'm definitely putting in that work. So that's another project. And then I have something going on probably sometime next year. So I'm not gonna get again too deep into explaining everything with that, but like I will be doing a lot of shows for several months, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So it should be cool.
Well, I'm excited for you. Congratulations. We'll be looking forward to that album that you drop. And
Thank you.
guys, stay tuned so you can find out where you can connect with him on social media, Facebook, follow him and find out what he's doing and when he's doing it. That's excellent. Okay, so I want to get into some of the stories that we had a chance to discuss.
Okay.
One being, I think another transition from student to professional, or like I said, maybe you didn't go to school for what it is you do, but just like newbie to like experienced, is coming out of that place where we would love to believe that everybody has our best interest in mind, that
Yeah.
everybody's doing everything, with a right heart behind it. But I think in any arena you go, you will find those people that don't operate. And we talked about it earlier, character and integrity. Can you tell
Yeah.
us the story about your music production being stolen?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. All right. So all right. So this is the story right here. At the time, I was working with a production team named called the Music Majors, and my production partner, his name was Jorge at the time. So there was a track that I made in college called Armageddon. And so I produced a track, I let, some of my closest friends hear it, and people's like, yo, this is hot. Like, this is the next hot thing. This is gonna be a hit. Now keep in mind, like I made this track like 3 years prior to what I'm going to tell you. But to make the long story short, at the time, we was trying to get our music out there. So we actually like saw a tweet on Twitter from Young Bunny. They said if you want your music production page to be promoted, you just give us $20 and we'll put your page out there. So we went ahead, we paid them the $20. They put our production website up. Everything was cool. So then like maybe like a month later, I went to the barbershop and my homie looked at me. He's like, yo, man, like, remember that beat that you heard that you let me hear? I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, why aren't you in Jamaica right now? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm still grinding, He's like, why aren't you not in Jamaica, man? I just heard your track on TV. I was like, bro, you playing. Stop playing right now, man. Like you clowning me right now, man. Come on, I gotta get this haircut. So he's like, no, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I said, okay, where'd you hear it? He's like, oh, it was on 106 & Park, man. I even recorded it for you. So I was like, all right, I want to hear it. So I sat in the barber's chair and he played it. Next thing you know, I see Kendrick Lamar. I hear DJ Khaled's voice in the background, and then I hear my track playing. And at this point, like I froze. I froze, and I was feeling a lot of emotions. I was mad. I was upset. All kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, yo, like they really took my track. I didn't get no credit for it or nothing. And see, this is where copyright yourself comes into play. I cannot say this enough. You have to copyright your music, because if someone steals your stuff, you need that proof stating that you actually made the track. So I didn't have any money to get lawyers or none of that stuff. But yeah, my track was all over the place. And the only thing they added to it was like congas on there. So like it was like, all right, it's a little bit different, but the same structure was the same. So they added a different instrument and called it theirs pretty much. So I guess you can quote unquote say it's like sampling, but it's really not sampling. So yeah, I was really upset when that happened. So then me and Jorge, we created a video basically like comparing the two tracks, and it's very obvious. I don't know if that video is still up on YouTube. I would personally have to find it, but if I do, I'll let you know. But yeah, we made a video, and the song, or I will say this, the song that they did is called B Boys, B and then hyphen BOYZ, with Kendrick Lamar, Birdman, Ace Hood, DJ Khaled, and someone else on there. So we compared the two songs together, and it's very obvious that they stole it. So then we actually found the producers, and then we hit them up on Facebook, and the only thing they did was laugh. That was literally it. Just ha 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 ha. I was just like, wow, like this is Tweak Session. So that was one incident where my track got stolen. Then I had another incident where I made this one track and Nick Cannon was on it. And I don't know who the guy was. It was somebody out in Atlanta. Like, he must have heard the track. He took it and put it out there and called it his. But again, me at the time was being young. I didn't know anything about copywriting my stuff. I'm thinking, okay, I have the files, the dates here. That's copywritten. No, you have to send yourself to Washington, D.C. or, do what you have to do to get it copywritten. So I learned my lesson. So the moral of the story is, I could have been very, very like angry and bitter towards other people, and I could have quit. But the way I look at it is like, at least I know that I can make music on that level. I can make music on an industry level. So knowing that, it's a blessing, because now I know that I have the potential to get placements with different artists and do a lot of great things with this. Even though it does suck, I wanted to get the credit. What are you gonna do about it? It's too late. It's a learning experience, So that was my little learning experience with that. To make sure everything is copywritten, and that's why I move in silence. Like, I don't really like talk about everything that I do, but I'll get like little snippets here and there. But yeah, like I kind of keep stuff in the background, and then that way when it comes out, then I'll go ahead and express to people, okay, this is what I did, this is what happened. But I mean, it's wild, I'm pretty sure there's more tracks out there that I probably produced that somebody took. It's nothing I can do about it now. The only thing I can do is just take that experience and just, utilize it to my fullest and just move forward with it. And that's it.
Yeah. I think it's excellent. I'm glad that you didn't stay in that dark place. I'm glad you didn't give up.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I think we have to go through things so that we can teach and encourage somebody else. So I appreciate you for sharing that story. Now I know that you talked about some other things that you learned in regards to learning the business aspect of the music industry. Now, for those that are listening, especially those that are musicians, what are some things that you can throw out to them that they really need to investigate and make sure they understand, or need to investigate and make sure they have on their team as musicians?
Okay, so as a musician, you always want to make sure that you get your royalties. You want to make sure that you get paid. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in contracts where it's like, we'll pay you, I don't know, $100, and that's it. And then the next thing you know, like the song that you played on is getting millions of streams all over the world. So you're not seeing none of that money. You're not getting no royalties or nothing like that. You want to make sure you have like contracts written up. If you have enough money, you also want to make sure that you have lawyers, someone that can read over these contracts, like, because you don't know what's in those contracts at all. Even for artists, like, they'll look at a contract, it'll say, we'll pay you $1 million up front. And, and like a young 17-year-old, when he sees that, he's like, oh, yes, $1 million. Like, I'm going to hop on that. Yeah, I'm going to take my mama out and, I'm going to do this and, all these different things. But then in the small fine print at the very bottom, you have to get them a little magnifying glass. And it'll say you have to pay back the record company. You have to pay all the producers. You have to do this. So, like, yeah, they'll give you the money up front, but, like, you have to pay all that back. So you have to make sure you do tours. You have to make sure you have merchandise to sell. You have to have live streams. You want to make sure your stuff is on all the social media platforms, Apple Music and Spotify and what's the other one called? I forget. Tidal, like just all over the place. And you want to make sure that people are coming to your page and listen to your music. That's how you get paid, So like, you really have to be on top of that kind of stuff. You can't always go by what somebody says either. Like, I believe that actions definitely speak way louder than words. So yeah, they can tell you, oh yeah, like we're gonna fly you out here, we're gonna do this, but nothing happens. Like, you end up having to pay everything yourself. So you want to make sure everything is written in stone. Read that contract, have, you know, your best friend or someone that you trusted with the contract, take that contract to a lawyer or somebody that's like higher up in the field, somebody that you really trust, someone that you know is really been into the game, have them read over everything and explain to you everything. So just don't get caught up in the numbers. You know, sometimes you have to learn to walk away from stuff. If I was to get offered, say, like $2 million, you know, up front, and I had to, you know, sell my soul, I'm walking away from that. Like I'm not going to change who I am as a person. Like I don't care how much money you can offer me, $1 billion. Like I'm not ever going to sell my soul. I refuse to do that. You know, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm gonna stay true to my music. So with that being said, the best advice I can give artists and musicians, just be independent. You know, you don't necessarily have to be on the label. I mean, it's cool. Like if the circumstances work out and you do, you know, get signed to a record deal and they do pay you like a certain amount of money to produce or play something, okay, cool. But if you want to go out there as like an artist, you just have to be careful with that. You're better off just being independent, you know. Like you can blow up on YouTube, you can blow up on TikTok, you know, there's Instagram, you know, you just have to learn like the different algorithms. You have to learn how to put the hashtags in there the right way. You have to pay for promotion. So I'd rather just take that approach. So yeah, just be careful. Like it's real easy to get played out here. You definitely want to make sure you discern a lot of stuff.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know another thing that you mentioned was just learning the business side of what it is that you're doing. And like you said,
Yeah.
that could be for the music industry, that could be for you guys dancers, the theater artists, whomever you are. Learn the business side of it so that you don't you know, get taken advantage of. And while I mean, we don't have time to talk about it, but that opens up a whole nother conversation about being independent and
Yeah.
the strongholds that they try to put around you for the sake of, oh, I'm going to be great, I'm going to be wonderful. You know, that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. So there was another story that you were telling us about that we want to hear a little bit about, and that was a story behind choices. We have to make different choices. We have to make different sacrifices. And you did share a story with us in regards to, you had an opportunity to tour with John Legend. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So this was in college. I think this was like even my junior year of college. And there was a guy that came up to me and he was, I forgot exactly who that gentleman was, but he said that John Legend was looking for a trumpet player. And you know, he heard me play and he's like, yo, like this is a cool opportunity. Like, would you want to like do this? And I was like, yeah, like it'd be cool. You know what I mean? Like I definitely would want to do that. But then like I went back to college and then I talked to the one choir teacher at the time. I'm not going to mention his name, but I spoke to him and he basically told me, he said, yeah, he said, either you go on tour or we fail you. So it was either like, if I get failed, you know what I mean? Like that scholarship that I had probably got taken away. So I had to make a choice. It's either you have a short-term success and you can go on the road, or you can stay in college and then your parents will get mad, you know, because they're actually helping you pay get the college paid for it, you know? So I chose to stay in college. That was definitely a sacrifice and I definitely wasn't happy about it. But now that I think about it, I don't even think he really uses horns like that anyway. So, you know, it would have been short-term success, but I still would have been stuck in the same place. You know, at least that's how I see it. But you know, I could have went, but sometimes some things are just a little bit more important than others. So the things that we want to do may not be necessarily what you need to do to get to the next level. You know, and then there was another situation as well where I could have played with, you know, Marsha Ambrose, but at that time, you know, it was like a jam session and one guy was like, yo, you should go on the mic and just play. Just start playing, man. Just start playing. I'm trying to play on the microphone. All these singers start coming up and just taking the mic and like all that stuff. I'm like, all right, y'all trying to flex and show out. Like I'm just trying to play so she can hear me. She never got a chance to hear me play. She walked away, you know. So I was just like, dang. So it just like I've been through so much in my life that, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice like certain things, you know. It's crazy, but it's all learning experiences. You just have to keep on moving.
Man, that's yeah. I like something you pointed out though, which was that you can choose a short-term success or something that will kind of hold you over in the long run. I mean, it's not too late for you to play for John Legend if he's looking
Right,
for
right,
trumpeters. It's not too late for you to play for Marsha. So,
right.
uh, I like the mature standpoint that you took. You know, I'm wondering whether your parents were like, you should have went with John Legend, but but
Yeah,
but either way,
they're like mixed about that. Like a part of them was like, yeah, you should have, but then another part was like, yeah, you should have finished school. Because think about it, like all these kids, like look at the pandemic. Like we had no idea this was going to happen. All the gigs just stopped. So the fact that I have a degree, I can do something with that. And if I didn't have a degree, it'd be a lot harder. So yeah, like I had to make hard choices. That was something that I wanted to do, but not what I needed to do. I honestly, like I feel like God didn't want me to do that at that time. I felt like I wasn't even mature enough as a musician and as a person to go ahead and do that with him. Because if I was, it would have aligned, and then I would have been out on the road with him. But that's not what he wanted. He wanted me to do something totally different. So with that being said, I ended up getting, opportunities with Netflix. I had opportunities to play with, the band I mentioned, the Uptown band. I had opportunities to like, do different gigs and, just really grow as a individual. I got production stuff. So in a sense, like it actually kind of worked out, it worked out in my favor. And that's not saying like it won't happen, because it probably will happen in the future. I don't know what's coming up next. All I know is like right now in this present moment, like I just have a strong passion for what I do. I love my music. I love making videos. I love learning different instruments and just being able to showcase my talents to the world. I love being able to do that. So I do know at some point that the passions that I have, they're eventually like they're gonna go places beyond here. You know what I mean? Like, and I will be able to do upper opportunities, and that's definitely going to happen. But as of right now, like I just have to keep running it out, and I just have to, stay true to myself, and I just have to know that I can't just do this just for the money. The money's going to come. I'll give you an example. You have people who cut hair, right? You got some barbers that they only cut hair for the $20 every day because they need a paycheck. And then you have some barbers who are very passionate about what they do. The people who just cut hair, they're going to butcher you. You're going to be looking like C-Spot Run. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, that did happen to me a few times, but we won't go into that. We won't go into all that. But they just want the dollar. But then you got the people who take their time. They line you up with the pencil and the razors, and they do such a good job that their passion just it took over, and then you want to keep going back to them, so that way they get paid for doing something that they love to do. That's how I feel about my music. I have to have a passion for it. If there's no feeling, no connection there, and I'm making music, you guys are not going to feel it. So it's really no point in me even doing it. Then I could just be a car salesman and call it a day. Like just read everything by the script and go. But with that passion, you just I don't know. It just does something to your life. It really does. So like you may not see a lot of money right away. People are not going to understand what it is that you do. That's only between you and God. But all you really have to do is just really just push forward and just do what you do. And then once you do that, everything will fall into place. And then people will definitely kind of understand and realize, okay, wow, like, so this is why he didn't take that job, or this is why he didn't do this, because he's doing this now. So your passions, definitely, you have to let your passions like take you to that next level, so to speak.
Very well said. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I believe that money comes and goes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're only doing it for money, then it can be a fruitless endeavor. But if you're doing it for something more, something deeper, something more passionate, then absolutely that's what's going to be exemplified. And I also like what you pointed out about you had that opportunity, but were you mature? Not even you talked about your skill level, but mature enough as a person.
Yeah.
Now that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that if you want, but
oh man, I would love to. We're just about out of time here. Before we're getting ready to close out, we're going to do our Fast Five and have you tell us where we can find you on social media. But before we do, I just wanted to ask you if you could tell us about the most influential project that you worked on and why was it influential to you?
Okay, now I gotta think about that one. I would say the most influential project that I worked on was probably the doing the track, for Michael Jackson. The reason why I say that is because there was a time in my life where like I was really going through a lot of stress. You'd be surprised, like, it was a point I was really depressed, but you would never really know unless you actually know the person. During that time, I was driving my car, I was driving home, and then I heard that title track on the radio. And then when I heard it, like I just started like crying. The reason why is because I went through so much in my lifetime. And then me hearing myself on the radio, I was like, wow, like this is it. Like this is really all I wanted. It may not have been a lot, but just, being able to hear that on the radio, like it just touched you. Cause it's like, wow, like you really do have like a lot of potential. And you just sit back and think like all the struggles that you went through, all the people that you thought were your friends, they turn their backs on you, the heartbreaks, overeating, like all that stuff that you went through to get to that point. It really just like it touched you. So like I would say that's definitely like the most influential thing that I did, because it's just like that was the first time I actually heard my trumpet on the radio. And so like it really just like touched me in ways that I couldn't even like really explain to you. It's crazy. But yeah, that was definitely the most influential one.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations again. I'm glad you had the opportunity and be encouraged. As I listen to these stories, and maybe, I don't know, we might have to do a second round with artists, but when you really, there's the person that we see up front, the musician, the artist, the person who's on point, who's gifted, who's so talented. And then there's the behind the scenes that got to the person that's up front. And I'm telling you, the stories that you hear, it's not easy, but I hope you guys are encouraged by hearing him, and I hope you'll be encouraged as well. Well, we are just about out of time. Are you ready for your Fast Five?
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. So again, the Fast Five, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You have 5 seconds to answer each. Number one, favorite musician?
Woo! Roy Hargrove.
Okay. Want to say why?
Yeah, I can say why real quick. So I actually met him, but like way before he passed away. That guy he was mad cool, mad chill. Like I talked to him, and then I was just like, yo, like one of these days I'm gonna play for you. It never happened, but like I was just like, I'll play for you one day. He said, yeah, man. He's like, that'd be cool, man. He's like, yo, I'm gonna give you some advice. He said, play for free, play everywhere. Just go over and just play, man. Just play. So that being said, like I actually like the fact that he told me that, because now I can share this with other people. Now, sometimes you have to do freebies to get to the next level. There's a lot of people who expect a lot of money up front. They're like, oh, well, we won't do this gig unless you pay me $1,000. It's like, well, people don't really know who you are. You have to share that gift with other people. You have to be able to play some freebies to get more work, and then you can go to other places, and then people will remember you for that. Now, on the flip side, you also don't want to like do everything for free, because, this is what we do for a living. You do have to get paid. But all I'm saying is like, you can't be afraid to really express yourself to other people sometimes, just kind of, do a couple freebies here and there. And then if people like what they hear, they're gonna ask you for the work for them. And then that's gonna get you more money in the future. So I'm glad that he told me that. He was mad cool. I miss that, brother. Rest in peace to him.
Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, number 2, favorite pastime.
Favorite pastime? Sleep. I don't know.
Sleep. Okay. It's necessary.
Right.
Okay, number 3, and sometimes it is hard to come by as well. So
right.
Number 3, if you could work with any artist, who would it be?
Chris Brown.
Oh, okay. Chris Brown. Why?
The reason why, like, I don't know, he's very, very like musically inclined. Like, I feel like the music that I make, like I can actually create something like super dope behind his sound. Like I can definitely do something with that. You know, so I think that'd be really cool to work with him one day. Just be like, yo, like, I want you to sing like this over top of this track. And then I'll just have like the horns like behind him. Like, that'd be cool. So yeah, one of these days I definitely will like to work with Chris Brown. Like, I think he's just a dope artist.
Awesome. Hashtag Chris Brown. Okay. Number 4, your ideal travel destination.
Ideal travel destination. I would say Paris, France.
Ooh.
Why? I don't know. It's just something about it. Like, I would like to just go out there and just visit it. I think it'd be a really cool place to travel to.
Wow. I heard it's beautiful. So I like that too. And last but not least, your ideal gig. What would be your ideal gig?
My ideal gig. Wow. Can I get more than 5 seconds? I gotta think about that because it's a lot. It's a lot with that. I mean, my ideal gig. Okay, so all right. Honestly, the way I would like to get paid, like, I would like to be able to get paid through music production, just being able to, you know, be in my room or wherever, make tracks for people in loops and have people that, you know, sample them and use them on their stuff and be able to do like gigs whenever I feel like it, or do horn tracks for other people when I feel like it. But as far as like an actual gig, see, that it really just depends on what the opportunity is. Like, I can't really answer that. It's a lot. I don't know. Like, it could be with anybody, you know. It could be with, you know, playing with Adele. It could be, I don't know, playing with Nick Payton sometime. It could be anything. I really don't know. It just depends. Like, I'm just open. So whatever opportunity comes my way, I want to take full advantage of it. So okay. I hope that kind of answers the question.
That's fair. That's fair. Awesome. Well, Mr. Michael Alexander Burton, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing all those behind the scenes stories.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before you go, we have to know where we can find you, how we can find your music, check you out and connect with you. Can you let us know?
Yeah, so if you want to go to my Instagram, it's producerman20. If you want to go to my YouTube page where I have like all my little video stuff up, it's Mike Alexander Productions. I mean, you can find me on Facebook, you know, just type in Michael Alexander Burton, full government. I also have a Snapchat page as well where I post some music stuff on there. That's music, which is MUZIK, Music Fitness. So you can find stuff on there as well. And that's pretty much everything. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you again. Well, guys, this has been another Music Mondays with Michael Burton Alexander. Please like, share, tag, get in contact with him, listen to his work. He's a phenomenal, very gifted and very skilled musician. I'm very proud of you and how you've grown over the years. And I've listened to your work. Very, very well done. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And so, guys, again, please check us out on social media. You can go to our website at www.aliaschoolofart.com to find a little bit more information about what we do, impacting our community's social, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs through arts and education. Or you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Alia School of Art. Again, my name is Renee West, and I'm happy to be with you guys. Come back with us next week. We'll be joined by another phenomenal musician, and you don't want to miss it. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, good one.